Hey guys, Elliot here. Welcome to the channel, where we discuss true crime cases, either solved or unsolved ones. To be more specific, this is an unsolved one. I truly hope that by sharing this brief story, Dean's loved ones may find some closure by finding the answers they are looking for. This is the unsolved murder of Dean Padgett. I just don't understand why someone would want to kill him. These are Bobbie Hulburt's words. She's the mother of murder victim Dean Padgett. Wait, one step at a time. This is 31-year-old Dean Nicholas Padgett. On September the 25th, 2024, just a year ago, deputies from the Otsego County Sheriff's Department and troopers from the Michigan State Police were called to Dean's residence on Two Horse Trail in Hayes Township, Gaylord, where unfortunately the young man was found shot to death in his own driveway. The young man had been deceased for an undetermined amount of time. A medical examiner was called on scene and it was determined Dean was a homicide victim. A horrible scene no one would wish to see, of course. Since then, the person responsible still has to be arrested and charged with killing. His life was stolen, leaving a massive hole in the hearts of his family, especially his daughter. Who was 31-year-old Dean Padgett? First and foremost, Dean was a beloved and caring father of a daughter who is now 4 years old. I think Bobbie's own words speak volumes about the kind of person her son was. He had a heart of gold and would take the shirt off his back to give to somebody. He would give someone his last $5 if they were hungry. Dean's character shows how kind-hearted he was towards people in need of help or facing tough times, like the homeless. It is also known Dean was born on February 1st, 1983, and at the time of the killing, he ran a small business. While looking online, I wasn't actually able to find much about his young life or teenage years either. On September the 24th, 2024, Dean was out with a friend of his, having some cocktails, something a young man would do, just a regular night out. Then he came home and was allegedly ambushed in his driveway. He was not found until the next morning, when his cousin made a shocking discovery. According to Bobbie Hulburt, it seems like Dean was targeted by his killer, and there's a reason to believe this. The area where Dean lived was not known by many people. Only a few knew where he actually lived. In fact, his legal address was still his mom's place. He lived on a dead-end road, plus his driveway was quite long. The culprit in this case could have known Dean personally, because he would have never let someone follow him. Probably someone was waiting for him. Authorities have not disclosed how Dean Padgett was killed or when he died. According to Bobbie Hulburt, Dean had been shot 3 times, once on his side and twice in the head. I would like to specify this is still an active case. In fact, the Otsego County Sheriff's Department has turned investigation over to the Michigan State Police. They're going to take and go over everything from the beginning to the end and start their investigation over. A statement from the Office of Under Sheriff Matt Milodore. Law enforcement continues to track down leads from the public. As the investigation continues, the Otsego County Sheriff's Office has taken all the investigative information brought forth and continues all leads in the investigation. Law enforcement can release any information on suspects due to the continued and ongoing investigation. This case remains active and law enforcement remains dedicated to bringing closure to the investigation. This is a story which makes you wonder who might hide behind an unfair murder. There are so many unanswered questions. Who would want to kill this young father and friend, and why? Did Dean owe something to somebody? Is it possible it was a robbery gone wrong? Well, that doesn't seem to be the case, very unlikely, also because his personal items were recovered. What if someone saw something and is now afraid to come forward? Well, something worth mentioning here is that Gaylord, This little town in Michigan where Dean's killing took place has a higher than average crime rate compared to both the US and Michigan overall. Violent crime is relatively low in actual numbers, only a few dozen incidents per year, but the rate appears higher, of course, because we should be mindful that Gaylord does have a lower population, roughly 4,400 people in 2025. In other words, while crime statistics looks higher on paper, this is in part due to population size rather than a large number of incidents, and recent trends show crime has been decreasing. It's not that common for a crime like this to take place in such a small town. On September the 25th, 2025, a Thursday, which is the National Day of Remembrance for murder victims, many people, including friends and family members, were united at the Otsego County Courthouse lawn to keep Dean Padgett's memory in the spotlight. Dean's mom, Bobbie, released a statement that day. Unfortunately, he was murdered on this day a year ago. Was it a coincidence? I don't believe so. I'm here not only for Dean, but for other victim families as well. I want their voices heard too. Unquote. No words would fit to praise Bobbie's determination in looking for the truth of what happened to her son. Spreading awareness for other families, victims of crimes, is very important. It's only by keeping the memory of a victim alive that a successful outcome may be expected. A straight year has passed and members of the community still have to come to grips with this tragic loss. A $7,000 reward has been put up as an incentive for someone in the know to make a step forward. Dean's family hope is that they don't have to wait much longer for the answers they've been seeking for that long. Here's Bobbie again, describing his son. He was just an amazing person. Don't get me wrong, he was imperfect. Nobody is. He had his faults, but if somebody had an issue with them, I don't know why they didn't just, approach him, punch him in the face, slash his tire, but, actually kill him. I don't know, I don't get why. Everyone commits mistakes in their life. There's no denial about that. Could it be the case that maybe Dean got in trouble with the wrong person and was then ambushed? Yeah, it's possible. We just don't know, but given all the details, it seems like this person knew exactly where Dean lived. In other words, this doesn't look like a random attack. It's insane that among small members of a community like Gaylord, a person responsible for this heinous crime might hide without getting caught. Someone has to know what happened. Bobbie really appreciated all the support she had received after his son's killing. It's nice to know that I have people to support me, but it's hard. It's really hard. I miss him a lot. I went through a lot with that kid. Unquote. Bobbie has been quite active on Facebook, posting about her son's death frequently, using the hashtag #JusticeForDean, in hopes someone will come forward and reveal useful information about the case, maybe a breakthrough. What she has been doing is stunning and so beneficial for the case. Keeping it in the spotlight will force someone to speak up, also because the community isn't that big. A GoFundMe has been put up, and as of the moment I'm recording this, roughly $5,000 out of the $8,000 have been collected. Here's the statement released by the fundraiser Josephine Murray, Dean's sister. A lot of you knew my quick-witted, somewhat of a jackass little brother. He was imperfect, but he was a good man trying to make the best out of the deck of cards that life and himself dealt out. From being an inmate to building his own business that he was truly proud of, it seemed like he was never slowing down. Dean was murdered Tuesday night by a coward with a gun. This I vow, I will not stop until justice is served to my brother. Until then, give heaven some hell, kid. We as a family are trying to give him the proper send-off he deserves and bring his killer to face what they did. All remaining funds will be placed into an account for his own legacy. His true love, 3-year-old Harper. Unquote. Well, that's the end of this episode, guys. A wild case that to me should be on everyone's lips in order to make the process move a bit, increasing the chances someone could crack and speak up openly about what happened. That's my main desire. We are talking about a family that has been through a lot, and after a long year, they deserve to know the truth behind this case. Every piece of information, no matter how small it may seem, could be essential in solving this case and help bring closure to Dean's loved ones. The Sheriff's Department warns everyone with information on the case to call 989 731 7469. That's the end. See you in the next episode, guys, and until then, stay safe and stay aware.